Good morning, UUSS. Rise and body your spirit to sing this joy that I have. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world didn't take it away. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This pride that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This price that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday service. Whether you are with us online or in person, we're glad that you're here. I'm Andy Cramer, serving as worship associate. The Reverend Dr. Roger Jones is leading the service with several participants reflecting on fathers and fatherhood. We are also grateful for our musicians and AV staff that are supporting us today. The mission of this congregation says we come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. We invite you to explore all the ways we live out this mission. If you're new to UUSS, please fill out a newcomer's card, either using the link on our website or at the welcome table after the service, so we can connect with you. Our weekly message will come to you by email. In July, it will come out every other Friday. The blue sheet includes upcoming activities with a calendar for the coming weeks. Here are some highlights. After the service today is the monthly meet and greet for our men's group. Look for them at 12 noon in classrooms 7 and 8. Our People of Color Caucus will have its meet and greet after church next Sunday. And before church next Sunday, Reverend Lucy will be leading embodied spiritual practices for stressful times. There are a number of programs coming up in adult enrichment on Sundays and weekdays, so check the connections table today during coffee time. In particular, starting this week, Reverend Lucy will be leading a book discussion, Challenging Books for Challenging Times. The book is On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. It's a short book, so if you get it today, you can probably read most of it before this Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. or this Thursday at 2 p.m. Come to either or both gatherings. There's 4 copies of the book available in the UUSS bookstore. During coffee time on the patio, you can learn how to register for our annual All Ages Camp, which will be the first weekend of August. Also coming up, our UU denomination's General Assembly takes place later this week in Baltimore, Maryland, and online. Board member Sally Wilkins invites us to gather for one or more of the GA watch parties in the FOS room on campus. Of special interest is the major lecture on Saturday. It starts at 4 o'clock sharp, and a light supper will be provided afterwards. Vegan and gluten-free and made with love. See the insert in your order of service. And now, to avoid any distractions, please turn off your smartphones, your cell phones, smartwatches, and anything else that might go off. If your neighbor needs assistance during the service with a noise-making device, please offer your help with kindness. If you're attending by Zoom today, after the service, we will have 22 minutes of conversation in a breakout room for you to get acquainted. Now, let's receive the music for centering.
Good morning. Good to be with all of you. Good to see many familiar faces and some new faces and some faces we haven't seen for a long time. And it's good to be with you if you're with us online. Reverend Lucy will be not only leading a program before service, she will be leading Exploring Unitarian Universalism after the service next week, and she will be giving the service while I'm at General Assembly, working very hard. And next Sunday is the question box service, so she invites your questions for her. You can send them by email, you can call her up, you can mail it and hope it arrives by Friday, or you can come and stick your question in the real question box. Annika is our chalice lighter today. In Unitarian Universalist congregations, we begin our services and small group meetings by lighting a flame in a vessel crafted in the form of a chalice. These words, which are a responsive reading, are from the Hebrew Scriptures, Deuteronomy chapter 6, revised, adapted by Peter Rabel. I will begin, and please respond with the words in italics. We build upon foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves at fires we did not light. We profit from persons that we did not know. This means that we are ever bound in community. Together we can build across the generations. Together we can renew our hope. It is set to come.
Hello, my name is Crystal Fountain, and I am the Religious Education Coordinator here at UUSS. So last week, we finished our regular Sunday morning RE programming that began last September. So I would like to thank the kids, the youth, and their families for going on this journey of wondering and learning with us over the course of this RE year. I would also like to thank all of the adult volunteers who have led our RE classrooms with such dedication, warmth, humor, and curiosity. Thank you also to the congregation, church leaders, and our ministers who've all supported our RE program and made our work possible. Today, we're starting our summer program for youth and children. It's called Jet Pig Summer Arts. Have you met Jet Pig? I bet you have, whether you've realized it or not. This is our Jet Pig, little jetpack, little pig, heart. It's a way of remembering our shared UU values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, with love at the center. You too can remember Jet Pig. In RE, of course, we spend the entire year talking and learning about our Jet Pig values and living them in our work and in our play. And during the summer, what we're going to do is explore these Jet Pig values through hands-on arts and crafts activities. So many creative adult volunteers will be leading our classroom activities, and they also bring with them their connections to their experiences in our church community and beyond. So today, Ginny Johnson and I are pleased to be in the Jet Pig Summer Arts classroom, and I would like to invite the kids and youth to join us as we lead with love. Thank you, and Anthony's gonna sing us out.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with the wood. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with the wood. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with the wood. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with the wood. One foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Good morning. My name is Meg Gunderson. I'm a member of UUSS, and I'm a volunteer leader at Sacramento Area Congregations Together, also called SAC-ACT. I help organize our lobby days at the state capitol. And in this past year, members of our UUSS working with Mercy Peddlers have been cited by the sheriff for providing food and water and supplies to people without homes. That just seems irrational to me. People who say it can't be done should not get in the way of people getting it done, right? As UUs, we are morally compelled by our values to oppose any policy that obstructs the delivery of life-sustaining resources. Criminalizing those providing these services only exacerbates suffering. Why would a county or city want to make it illegal for others to help? And surely law enforcement can't be enforcing cruel ordinances like this. That's not why they went to police academy. This year, a state bill would prohibit state and local governments from preventing individuals or organizations from providing basic services to people surviving on our streets and open spaces. It makes logical sense to us, and yet the bill sponsor says they're getting pushback from law enforcement and local jurisdictions. So our advocacy is very important. On June 23rd, that's next Monday, it's our next lobby day, we'll be advocating for this bill and some others that focus on safe and affordable housing. We make it very easy for you to join us. We give you all the details you need. We have appointments with our legislators throughout the day, and you are welcome to come for the morning or the afternoon or even all day if you'd like. And if you sign up, I will send you an email that gives you all the details you need to show up and when and where. After the service, we'll have flyers for you to take, and we'll be available in the welcome hall if you have any questions. Thank you.
In these times of disruption and anxiety, when cruelty is on display in our country, our candle of compassion and resistance is a reminder to bear witness to human decency, dignity, and freedom. By this light, let us remember that fear is outworked by hope, and that hatred is no match for the power of love, that nothing will stop us from celebrating the gift of life and the gift and blessing of community. In the days to come, may this flame light our way forward with courage and with hope and with love. Blessed be and amen. We have a number of joys and sorrows to mention this morning before a time of prayer and silence, followed by music. If you have a joy or sorrow to communicate to us, to the ministers, you can find a link in the Joys and Sorrows section of the weekly message that comes out on Fridays, or you can contact us directly before the weekend. By now, every school district around here has begun summer vacation, and we give our best wishes to all of the students, teachers, and staff, wishing them a restful and joyful break. And for those in summer school, we are cheering you on. And at the end of the school year, we extend our congratulations to recent high school graduates connected to this congregation, Isby, Bella, Liam, and Justine. And congratulations to college graduates, one of whom is with us. Is Ruby here? Would you please rise? Ruby, where are you? Ruby. Ruby Dahlquist Exum grew up here and just graduated from Columbia University, and she leaves for Taiwan on Wednesday. So blessings on your journey and your new life. Oh, sorry. Ruby's her older sister. She graduated a while ago. Lily, very sorry. With whom I had coffee a year ago in New York City, so I should know that. Okay, sorry, Lily. hope I get this name right. Congratulations to Kathy Johnson on her move to a retirement community close to church, making it easier for her to attend choir practice, meditation, and work days on the campus. We're happy to report that our member Amanda Dewey is back at home with her family and healing after major surgery in San Francisco. We're grateful also that Richard Carlson is back at home following a time for physical rehabilitation after he suffered a broken femur. We send our prayers for continued healing to Amanda and Richard and their loved ones. Our member Patty Taylor has made a move out of the area, and she's now in an assisted living facility near a sister in San Mateo County. And we hold her partner Dave and grandchild Isby with tender care as they experience this separation. Mary and Morgan McLaughlin have a grave concern about a young adult family member who is a college student named Lily, who lives in London. And Lily had visited her cousin, their grandson, in Guatemala and was on her way home. And she was on a plane full of people who were detained by U.S. immigration authorities after landing in San Francisco. And instead of being allowed to make their connections or leave the airport, all the passengers were sent on a plane to Mexico City and left there. Lily was grateful at the spontaneous hospitality of so many of the people of Mexico, and we send our love to her and we pray for kindness wherever it shows up. Sad news to report of another loss in our congregation. Lori Jones passed away last night at age 74. This came just weeks after she was diagnosed with advanced cancer and kidney and liver disease. We extend our condolences to her daughter Sabrina and Sabrina's family, and to Lori's brother Craig, and to her friends at UUSS, especially in Theater 1, and CUPS. And CUPS is having a summer solstice event this coming Saturday here at 5. Turning our hearts toward the state of Minnesota, we express our shock at the murder of State Senator Hortman and her husband in their home, and the shooting of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. We extend our condolences to all who are grieving, and we pray for the recovery of John and Yvette Hoffman. As we pray for political violence to cease, let us give thanks that yesterday's democracy demonstrations around the country were overwhelmingly peaceful. May our prayers for safety and peace extend all around the world. Now let's take a deep breath. Amid so much heartbreak, so much swirling news, and so many hurdles of ordinary life, we all need moments of pause, of centering ourselves, of remembering the values that ground us and guide us. And let us pause now in community together. We can center ourselves in an awareness of our breathing, of every inhaled breath and every exhale. And as we do, may our breathing settle us. Let us notice our bodies and become aware of the parts of our bodies now making physical contact with whatever surface is holding us. And may we know that we are sustained and held. And as we continue breathing together and resting together, let us turn our hearts toward the sources of life and love. Let us be reminded that we are loved. Let us remember that compassion is not only a discipline, not only a gift, it is a strength that each of us can wield. Kindness is a power that belongs to us all. May the Spirit of love call us and call everybody to care for our neighbors as we care for ourselves. Let the Spirit of love remind us that we are connected to one another here and beyond. We are connected to the whole human family. May our prayers be filled with peace and hope for the human family and the family of all beings, near and far. Amen. Now let us pause for a few moments of silence together. Blessed be. As you can see in the order of service, the speakers in the service today will reflect on fathers and fatherhood. As a diverse group, these 6 members of our community will share a rich sampling of their experiences, memories, and feelings. Yet we recognize that even this diversity cannot represent the broad range of stories which come up for all of us. On the hearts and minds of those among us today are memories of those fathers, grandfathers, and mentoring figures who are no longer with us. We recognize also that those of us who are separated from parents by mental illness or addiction or by incarceration, we recognize there are memories filled with regret, estrangement, and even trauma. Some are separated from loved ones due to military service. Others are separated by overseas migration in order to work to support the family. Some are separated by physical distance, but appreciate the demonstrations of affection between parent and child, which are made possible by telephone, email, and even old-fashioned mail. Also today, we appreciate those who are not parents, but who offer guidance and practical help to children, youth, and others who need support. We give our thanks for those among us who are single parents, step-parents, and trusted elders. And to all those who are currently engaged in any kind of parenting role, we offer prayers of thanks, peace, patience, strength, and love. Now let us hear from our presenters today.
My dad communicated his values leading by example and choosing thoughtfully selected words. Is that better? Oh, very good. In my head, I still hear his voice, engaging, rational, patient, posing questions or using situations to spontaneously turn them into a teachable moment. Here are 3 recollections that I have. When I announced my intention to marry my first wife, my parents were caught quite by surprise. Soon after, my dad took me aside. He said, "Jed, marriage is a challenging thing in the best of circumstances, including shared fundamental values and ideology. It's obvious that Sabrina is very religious, and you are not." He continued, "I don't recommend you pursue this." I was furious until he said, "But if the 2 of you do decide to marry, your mother and I will love her and accept her as a member of our family, and you will never hear anything about this again." My anger dissolved. We did marry, and Dad made Mom keep his word. But after 14 years, our marriage no longer worked. My dad's cautionary words echoed in my head. Understand, there were many joyous times in this marriage, including the arrival of our 2 children, who turned out to have a sense of humor, many questions, and opinions. So many opinions. I spent 4 years off the market, another 6 with Terry, and finally found the confidence to enter a new union. Now 22 years and counting. One night after dinner, when I was a teen, my dad said, "Hey, buddy, want to go for a ride?" A guy at the airstrip had found a hobby shop specializing in hard-to-find radio-controlled airplane parts. My dad was hooked. "Here it is," Dad said, turning into the gravel front yard of an unremarkable house. There was a huge plate glass window next to an entry door that jingled, announcing our presence. We stepped into a big room, not expecting the glass display cases that ringed the room. A large man entered using a heavy-duty red tricycle for mobility. He extended a welcoming handshake to each of us in turn across the counter. Friendly and knowledgeable, he and my dad were quickly lost in model plane stuff. When Dad's purchase had been made, our host called, "Honey, come and share your testimony." His wife entered from the kitchen. Brimming with enthusiasm, she began to recount her story. "I was lost, doing the work of the devil, giving men pleasure to get money for drugs. I would surely have died on the street," she continued, "but for Jesus and his love. I prayed to be delivered, and Jesus lifted me up. I was saved. I got off the streets and the drugs and was led to my husband." I stood in stunned silence, stealing glances at my dad. I was sure he was surprised, but he didn't show it. In our Jewish household, my dad expressed many well-reasoned opinions, but on this night, he just listened in respectful silence. I didn't get it. We said our goodbyes, and as soon as the door closed, I blurted out, "Dad," which is as far as I got. He gave me a glance that was interpreted as, "Zip it until we're driving away." In the car, Dad said, "You saw how these folks live. They don't have much, do they?" And I reluctantly said, "No." Let's say you challenged her testimony and prevailed. What would be left to them? Instantly, I felt the shame wash over me, and I still do 55 years later. I squirm thinking about my inclination to challenge someone's deeply held beliefs. On the very quiet trip home, I began to grasp the experience. These kind people welcomed us and shared their greatest gift with two strangers who came in from the dark. My dad had found a teachable moment about respect for the worth and dignity of every person and the diversity that makes our world whole. In the early 1970s, my dad worked at Motorola, a big U.S. defense contractor. He hadn't envisioned that electrical engineering would test his convictions. The war in Vietnam was winding down. The Pentagon was pushing for completion of smart bomb prototypes so the new technology could ominously be tested in actual combat conditions. The new tech turned out to deliver horrifyingly effective devastation. Unknown to me, my principled, deep-feeling dad had been struggling for a few years without comment. He was caught between two imperatives: provide for his family or leave what he increasingly felt was an unethical job. I asked him a question at dinner. I don't even remember what it was, but it unleashed a torrent of his inner conflict. Dad talked about the project and the guilt and self-loathing he had for having any role increasing killing efficiency. Dad eventually found his way to law school at age 49 and spent the rest of his life working as a patent and intellectual property lawyer. About a year from our discussion, I registered for the military draft. I think it was one of, if not the last. that would determine what I did next. At 17, I had a lot of questions and few solid answers, but when I got to the line that said conscientious objector on the form, I checked the box. Somehow I knew deeply Jed Shapiro would not take a life. David Crosby and Phil Collins recorded a song they titled Hero in 1993. The chorus brings me thoughts of my dad. The hero never wondered what was right or wrong. He just knew. He just knew. Dad died in 1991. I still miss his wisdom, guidance, and humanity. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Good morning. There's so much that can be said about fathers and being a father. And I would just simply start by saying how extremely proud I am to have my beautiful children, Theo and Celine, if you could stand, and their plus ones, Tyson and Alexis. Could you stand, please? Look what they brought for me. In my many years of teaching at the university, I was always known to go off the rails, but I actually scripted it out. But the font is kind of small, so you'll have to bear with me as I stumble over my own words. This was originally a love song to my wife, Renee, who at a very, very late stage in her late 30s and early 40s, brought these children into the world with my help. I was somehow involved, and I'm forever grateful. So I call this a grateful father's sonnet to my adult children. To be blessed to have such healthy and vibrant babies, carried so lovingly in the deepest part of your soul. Theo and Celine blessed us with their presence in their own way from the very moment of birth. See, I'm messing up already. Theo, our Buddha baby, was so mellow and curious at birth, with open eyes and a curious mind, even then, would grow up in great laughter and joy. He was born an old soul and an earth guardian. Celine, our loving, fearless baby, would howl at the moon from the deepest parts of her, a new mini woman being cut in the mold of her earth mother. How could I behold such tiny life forms in my own hands? What had I ever done to be so blessed to know this feeling of trust and admiration? conveyed in such sparkling eyes and tiny toothless smiles. Traveling through life with you, Renee, loving these children in our own sacred ways. Seemingly every step I have taken as the father of our children has been with intention to love and teach and to try to spare them from the indignities of racial prejudice, gender stereotypes, and hateful political agendas. Renee and I faced each of these in our own youth. I have always revered that funny feeling I get every time I hear them laugh, even now, at 73. Knowing that I may have lost track of so many odes of bliss, experienced in the true, gentle currents that is life with those you love so intensely. Every day. That which is of us, and oh, so many adventures, both joyful and not so much, honest in my desire to be worthy. I have learned that fatherhood exists within the realm of each moment of every 24-hour span of time and should be embraced even when you're tired, distracted, or just grumpy. Surely I have learned this delicate dance from the loving mother of my children, Renee. I have been blessed to experience their growth and genius from this front row. Loving both the poet, musician, and the filmmaker, storyteller. Through both the light and the darkness of this life experience. Somehow confident that I will always relish this journey of being their father, and grateful for the love given in return. Fatherhood. Oh, what a magical sound. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Quine, and I am here reading my husband, Michael Feliciano's words. He is unable to be here in person today. Hi, love. Fathers are complicated. In the 24 years since my father died of cancer, I've arrived at a place of deep compassion and reverence for his journey as a father. He defied the odds in so many ways, in terms of the toxic influences he had, the loving childhood that he did not get, and what he was able to pass along to his two sons. My mom and dad both migrated as children to New York City from Puerto Rico after World War II. My dad was among the 5 youngest of 13 siblings. When he was 4 years old, his mother abandoned the family. His father, unable to care for the youngest children, sent them off to a Catholic boarding school. The older children were able to remain at home since they could work to support the household. Catholic boarding schools of this era were notoriously abusive environments, and although we rarely discussed such things, I know that my dad encountered horrific abuse from the nuns charged with caring for him. As an adolescent, Dad was able to eventually reunite with his family once he was of an age to work in support of the household. This messaging of conditionality attached to familial love, I think I soaked up some of that somewhere while developing my own strong work ethic. My dad's work ethic was like a fierce coat of armor, and it was also the way that he expressed love. From a very early age, he was teaching my brother and I how to fix the car and the house and how to build things. It was his way of nurturing. The thing is, I don't know where he got the role modeling and the desire to provide such nurturing and functional fathering. I find it absolutely amazing that he was so fiercely dedicated to being a father. It was the entire focus of his life when he was at home. Maybe he was living in pursuit of what he did not get as a child. I don't know. But he spent his days making sure that we had a great childhood with plenty of interaction, weekend road trips, and summer vacations. And there were, of course, plenty of chores too. But my dad was not perfect. There were 2 incidents of domestic violence that I witnessed as a young boy, and they are burned into my memory. After many years of therapy and many years as a therapist myself, I know in my heart I was witnessing a battle between the shadow and the light, an acting out of the deeply wounded boy whose mother left him at the age of 4. Indeed, in so many instances, I watched my dad grappling with his demons, a servant to his unhealed wounds. And many, many times, I watched him come out on top. We had our share of rough years, but plenty of good years too. And for all of them, I feel blessed, and especially blessed for what he managed to provide for us, considering his own upbringing. He left this world way too early, and my grief work included learning how to live without his guiding presence. Honestly, I'd give just about anything to sit with my dad on the porch and enjoy a cold beer with him just one more time. Then he could see the man I've become in my late 50s and witness the influence that he had on me. Happy Father's Day, Pop.
The mission of our congregation says we come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. And one of the ways we live out this mission is by giving away half of every Sunday's offering to an organization working to make a difference in the local community. And our partner for the month of June is Opening Doors, which has been supporting immigrants, refugees, and survivors of human trafficking since 1993 as they make their way towards stability, self-sufficiency, and belonging. We are having a diaper campaign for Opening Doors this month, and you can drop off your donation next Sunday or anytime on a weekday in the office. And next Sunday after the service, somebody from Opening Doors will be here for a conversation, a forum, if you want to learn more about its work. Their goal of building a better life, the goal of the families that they support, of building a better life for themselves, is inspiring and should be met with compassion and support. What it means to be a neighbor is to receive people with open hearts, open minds, and open arms, which is what Opening Doors provides. Thank you for your generosity. Our offering will now be given and received. As Peter and Ellen bring our offerings forward, please join with me in saying our unison words. May generosity bless our world, and may gratitude nourish our spirits.
It didn't go as planned. My oldest daughter, Carly, now 25, was born by cesarean section after her mom was in painful, exhausting labor for 48 hours. While many of my memories of parenting are muted by time, my recollections of that first night are not. While her mom was laying in the recovering room, cold and shaking, Carly was handed to me, this tiny, fragile bundle. I felt relief that she was healthy, at the same time, terrified and disoriented by the sudden turn of events for her mom. I didn't sleep well that night as I listened for the baby's breathing over the seeming roar of the hospital HVAC system. That night, I felt unprepared for the role that I had suddenly taken on, along with a rapidly growing love for this new addition to my life and to the world. Madeline arrived 2 years later in much less chaotic fashion. That was a sign of sorts to her calmer personality. I leaned into fatherhood as best I could, but to be honest, I always felt torn between the responsibilities of family and a demanding job while maintaining some semblance of my own identity. By the time I got divorced 10 years later, I still felt torn by competing demands on a daily basis, but I had grown more accepting of all that. My daughters moved through their teenage years without much of the feared drama. There were the usual activities, team practices, and lots of travel to weekend games, 4-H, academics, extracurriculars. Time seemed to speed up as they matured and came into their own. I was more comfortable being the loving, supporting presence in their life, always in the background because my daughters were competent, but also to avoid embarrassing them in front of their friends. As they move solidly into adulthood, our relationships have shifted as we transition between the roles of parent and child and get to know and accept each other as fully dimensional people. Reflecting back, that process started with a coming out story, in this case, my coming out to them. When they were 15 and 17, I explained that I was bisexual and I was dating a man. I could see the surprise on my younger daughter's face, but Carly, being older and the seemingly cool UU teenager, just rolled with it. Life went on, and I was increasingly open with them about who I was as a person, beyond just being their father. And I learned more about the young women that they are becoming. My takeaway from being a father is that I have an enormous capacity to love. I can be and am a loving, supportive presence in the lives of my daughters, my friends, and others close to me. And in turn, I can accept love and support from them.
Father's Day. A day that was a celebration for most of my life was forever changed 7 years ago when I suddenly lost my own father to a heart attack right before Father's Day. I was 31 years old, and he was just about twice my age at the time. Little did I know it at the time, but not weeks before this tragedy, I suddenly found myself embarking on the journey of becoming a stepfather to two amazing kids, a journey that would forever shape the way I view the world and everything in it. In those early days of parenting, I remember feeling so ill-equipped and in desperate need of his advice. I lost count of the number of times where I found myself in a parenting struggle, reaching for my phone only to realize that he would never be there to pick up again. Further exacerbated by the isolation of the pandemic, I landed where many of us did, trying to slowly figure it out by myself, and luckily in close collaboration with my spouse. Those first few years of parenting changed me forever, and the risks and fears of this world took on a new meaning. You are almost forced to widen your horizon, to consider irrational but nonetheless somewhat plausible calamities that may befall your family. A truly terrifying experience. After those first few years, I began to really notice how different I was from my past. My priorities shifted. The need to connect with my communities and find support deepened. and my scope turned global as I became engrossed with envisioning what their lives in adulthood would look like. These thoughts led me to pivot my career to something more direct and meaningful, to be an emergency services manager, going from drafting lofty transportation plans in an old, dusty downtown building to something closer to my roots, helping me find a bit of peace and purpose in the process. I reconnected with scouting, something from my past I wasn't sure I should re-engage with or not, given the religious and military undertones. But thankfully, we were able to find a troop that minimized both and focused the most on the outdoors, which helped me reconnect with nature and remember my great love for the wild, green parts of this world. And, of course, it brought me here. Ultimately, it helped me become a more kind, connected, and compassionate person. It drove me to critically re-examine the kind of world I was leaving behind for them, and drove me to do everything I could to leave the world better than I found it, before it was my time to join my Father in the great beyond. To nurture another in this precarious world is an act of bravery, of courage, of persistently and painfully clinging to the hope of a better world for the little ones that are under your care, that they may yet see in their own lifetimes. It's embracing your fears, plunging headfirst into the uncertainty of life with everything on the line, but knowing that you must do so for their sake and for the hope they herald. It's an act of sacrifice, but also one of community and solidarity with everyone else on the journey. While the experience of parenting has been a defining struggle in my life so far, I am forever grateful to have been given the opportunity to nurture young souls and kindle the collective hope of the future. It changes you forever, but in some of the best possible ways. Thank you.
Good morning. With life as short as a half-taken breath, don't plant anything but love. On this Father's Day, Rumi's words remind us what fatherhood is truly about. It is about planting love, not just through words, but through actions, sacrifice, and quiet guidance. In my own life, I have been fortunate to witness that kind of fatherhood through my father. Like many fathers, he has always put his family first. Even when life brought challenges, especially while growing up in Afghanistan, he made sure our home was filled with peace, kindness, and hope. He taught me and my sisters that no matter how hard life gets, we must keep our hearts open. He often says, whatever happens, stay kind, stay human. Those simple words carry so much wisdom. One habit of my father that I remember very well is how he would listen to the radio each night before going to sleep. Back in Afghanistan, as we were living through war and uncertainty, he often tuned in to Voice of America to hear news from the outside world, to look for any hope for a safer future for our family. One evening while listening, he heard an announcement about the U.S. diversity visa program. After the broadcast, he came to me and said, "Ashraf, maybe you should apply. Who knows, it might open a door for us, a way to leave the war and build a safer life." I applied, and later we received the news that our family had been selected. It was one of those moments where excitement and fear come together. Leaving behind our home, our friends, and everything familiar was not an easy decision. But my parents chose to take that risk for us, hoping to give their children a better life. When we arrived in California, everything felt unfamiliar. We had no connections and no support system. We were scared, uncertain about what the future would bring. On the very first week of our arrival, I received a kind message on Facebook from someone living in New York I barely knew. She wrote, "You should visit your nearest Unitarian Universalist association." At that time, I did not know what the Unitarian Universalist Association was. I searched online, found the address, and took a 2-hour bus ride from South Sacramento to get here. I still remember how nervous I was the very first day, but from the moment I walked in, I was welcomed with open arms, and I met the kindest people, caring mentors, and a community that saw me not as a stranger, but as someone they were ready to embrace. From that day forward, the Unitarian Universalist Society of Sacramento has felt like home. In those moments, I saw the very kind of humanity and kindness my father always believed in. The values he lived by were present here, reminding me how simple acts of care can make all the difference in someone's life. And today, I feel deeply grateful. Just 2 days ago, I received my first medical school admission. This journey from where we started to where I am now would not have been possible without my father's sacrifices and steady love, or without the kindness, support, and sense of belonging I found here at the Unitarian Universalist Society of Sacramento. Today, we honor not only the hard work of fathers, but also the love, patience, and strength they bring into our lives. Whether they are here with us or far away, we continue to carry their lessons with us every day. May we all continue planting that same love in our own lives. Happy Father's Day.
Let's all join together and guide my feet.
join me in speaking these words as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but we carry the light, love, and commitment of this gathering into the days to come.
I'd like to thank all of our speakers this morning, thank all of you for being here, and repeat the words that we heard from Ashraf from Rumi. With life as short as a half-taken breath, don't plant anything but love. I invite you to reach out in love to one another. If you're at home, reach out to us, and we're reaching back to you. May you depart in peace and be led forward in joy. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. And for all who seek a right path, may a way be found and the courage to take it step by step, one day at a time. Blessed be.